configuration, like that pod, we can take that armrest off since it's electric over hydraulic and swap. What do you want to get into first?
We'll get into this one right here first. So we got Chris here. Chris is the Volvo guy. He's not, we cannot lose Chris today.
Sunny day.
What is this one, Chris?
So this is our L90. This is our 3.5 yard machine.
And that's what it's got on, is a 3.5?
No, actually I have a 4.1 on it.
So we're overachieving today then, right?
We have it set up. We got it set up with wider tires, extra counterweight. This is basically set up to handle processed material.
So whatever I want to stick in it, I can go with it and it ain't gonna get tippy or anything like that.
Go for it, man.
We'll go for it. We're gonna hammer it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't do nothing halfway. We go all the way. That's what we do. What does this machine weigh right here, Chris?
Right about, we're probably in just touching the 30,000.
Okay.
All right, we're good to go.
It just calibrated the scales on this thing, so we'll be able to tell the weight. So what we pick up.
So the scale for this size machine is new. We're going to launch the scales next year. So we'll then have scales available for our L60, which is our smallest medium loader, 70, this, the 90, and then the 110 and 120 already have it, but we're also making the hardware for the scale standard on the 90, 110, and 120. So that gives our dealers and our customers more leeway. They have a scale ready machine. They might not necessarily want the app to come with it, but they have a machine they can easily add the scale to down the road if they want to.
So as you're loading it, it just shows up right there on that screen and what it is and stuff. So do I have I got a park brake right here.
Yep. Seat belt next.
Seat belt? Okay.
It's on the other side.
Yeah, I'm gonna swap it around from the electric machines over to this. All right, we ready then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was wondering if it had a camera on here. So it's electric controls, I can feel that then.
Yep.
How long have y'all been on electric on these rather than pilots?
For the medium loaders, the 70 and 90 have been electric for since 2018.
Okay.
We're now making our smallest loader, the L60 will become electric. Actually started, it'll start later this month. So then everything from our smallest medium all the way up will be electric.
All right. This thing is like silk, dude.
Put your ride control back on. There we go.
So it just kind of compensates on the bounce a little bit then.
So we call that our boom suspension. So
I had I could tell it when I let it down. I could tell the way it floated just a little bit. It bounced up. So I had a tractor one time that had that on a 3-point hitch back there. When you're running down the road with a hay mower on the back, it would compensate as the tractor kind of bounced a little bit. And that was actually really cool. So what liter engine does this one have in it?
So this one has, it's a 5.7 liter. We call it our D6 engine. It's a Volvo engine. Yeah, roughly about
6-cylinder or 4-cylinder?
It's a 6.
Okay.
It's about 184 horsepower.
Okay. Getting that out of a 5.7 liter. All right, on these, how can I tell when the cutting edge is like level on this thing right here?
Okay, so since it is electric over hydraulic, like you mentioned, we don't have like the meters or a gauge anymore.
Right.
So we have what we call our bucket level. So you can set the bucket, if you set the bucket down on the ground and then roll forward. So that flat portion on the top of the bucket,
okay, that's
parallel to your cutting edge.
Gotcha. Okay,
the bucket level is set, so if you do dump or go to the carry position, so if we're dumped here, you just shock the lever back towards you and it'll return to level. Same with carrying. If you're carrying material or carrying an empty bucket, you can level out as well by shocking the other direction.
It's got to float if you push it all the way forward.
So float, you activate right here.
Okay.
And then you can push all the way forward.
And then push all the way forward, and then you just hold it forward, and it stays in float mode.
You don't have to hold it. As soon as you push it,
bump it, then
it'll show up on your display there that you're in float.
The joystick is just killer right, man. I had about a quarter bucket in there is all I got.
So we can change the settings of the lever too as well. If it's too sensitive, we can slow it down or speed it up. So right now we're in our most sensitive mode, so it's going to be quite fast.
I got you.
But you can slow it down if need be. Notice you're not spinning either. So right now I have it set with rim pull control, so it lowers the power to your wheels, so you're not spinning and creating ruts. We can provide full power to the machine.
It's kind of like traction control, then basically is what it is. So I got almost a heaping bucket full. I wasn't quite there, but it's just got, it's a little bit different feel because of the electric. So I'm used to pilots. That's pretty cool right there. Our back area that we have has that right there. You pull the joystick all the way to the inside and it goes into self-level.
And also on the front of that joystick, there's a button. You can push that button to get you into first gear.
Okay.
There you go.
Gets it low. Okay, there we go.
A little bit more power.
Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. Well, it's not light in the back hardly at all or anything, man. I mean, you can tell the weight.
You probably have.
Tell the weight.
I'd say you have 8,000 or 9,000 pounds. Go ahead and raise the bucket up. Yeah. Let's see. As soon as it beeps, and 9,400 pounds.
9,400 pounds. So it don't register till you get up to that height then.
Yep.
Where are the load cells at on
we have one right there. See that white cord?
Right.
There's an IMU for the tilt linkage, so that senses the tilt angle. So that'll actually help count your buckets.
Okay.
When you dump. There's also one on the frame. You can see it. It's right down in front there. And then we also have one on the front frame itself. Wow. So those are all looking at inclination. So if we go, once we get out of this screen here, get back to. So that'll show you your inclination of the machine, side to side, and also forward and back. We have our position of the boom, generally just before that line's where it weighs. And then on our lift cylinder on the right side, we have pressure sensors, and that's where that's the basic nuts and bolts of the weighing is the pressure sensors. Looking at the positive and negative end of the cylinder for pressure.
So it still feels really stable even all the way up, like had to go to dump.
This machine, we really put this one together for handling processed material, again with the wider tires, counterweight, the large bucket. This is more or less, you'd sit this in a small, like a landscape place or like a material place and load all day. We definitely have different configurations for different applications for sure. So with the onboard weighing, we also have an app called Operator Coaching. So that'll show you, and it'll run in the background. But if you're exhibiting like bad habits, like say if you rested your foot on the brake or something like that, it would tell you. So what Operator Coaching does, it's going to show you how well you do at idle time versus usage, how hard you are on the brakes, how good you are on the throttle if you use too much or too little, and then our lockup converter, we want you to stay in there as much as you can to save fuel. But what it'll also show you, it'll give you tips, what to improve versus what you're doing well. You can tap on all these. They'll give you an explanation. Some of them even have a QR code that links to a video. So really good information for the operator.
Right there at your fingertips, like that.
Yeah, if you take a picture of that with your phone, and more or less it's going to link you to our YouTube channel and show you a video of what we're talking about, eco RPM usage.
Yeah, so you can pick that up right there off the screen then. That's pretty cool.
And then in addition to that, we also add the onboard weighing information to this as well, so we can see, you know, how much time you spent transporting material versus loading trucks versus, you know, load and carry running. So it breaks down everything you're doing as well. So the system's quite intelligent as far as what the machine, knowing what the machine's doing, and then able to, you know, show the operator, you know, where's your strong suits, you know, where do you spend the most of your time, stuff like that.
So it's data logging everything then?
This doesn't go anywhere. The operator coaching is just for the operator.
Okay.
So we aren't sending this data anywhere. We want the operators to feel confident.
It's just staying with the machine,
using it as
here.
a tool, more or less. So
that's crazy. So the owner can hop up in here and see what old Joe has been doing all day.
I mean, the operator can clear it too, but again, it is focused on the operator to try to help them operate the machine to its best capability.
All right, so what is this one, Chris?
So this one is our L180, I believe. So this one's a specialized machine designed for high production. We're running a long boom on it, so it has further reach. More or less a production loader in a quarry, maybe loading an asphalt plant, loading trucks all day long on the smaller side. But you know, certainly something to use to charge a plant, concrete, asphalt, something like that.
These can be equipped with the forks, with the grapple on it to unload logs and stuff in a log yard too.
Actually, all of our machines have that capability.
Right.
We can do that. This one happens to be a pin-on, so we don't have an attachment bracket on it. But yeah, I mean, certainly in log yards, this is definitely a size machine you'd see unloading trucks, or even larger.
Right. What size bucket does this one have on it?
So this one is close to it's over a 6, I believe. I think it's closer to a 7. Yep, 6.9.
6.9.
We also have our spade nose on here. So the spade nose rehandling bucket is designed to handle processed material, but also if you get into like heavier rock or maybe wrap where it's like stiff, the spade nose helps better penetrate to get into material. So it's more of an all-purpose, all-around, you know, just about all types of processed material it can handle, with the exception of maybe like rock face or something like that. When you're in reverse, if you back towards an object, will actually, and you get close, it'll actually apply the brakes.
Oh, will it?
Yes. It's a relatively new system. We haven't launched it yet. We will launch it.
So I couldn't have backed over them then, right then. You want to try right quick?
I don't know who's going to volunteer for that one. But no, it is designed to identify objects and then stop the machine. It's a pretty dramatic stop too, to really grab the operator's attention.
Oh yeah. That's actually pretty cool having the 2 sticks right there.
So sometimes with a single lever, if you're loading trucks all day and you get really fast with it, sometimes you can actually get into your tilt and lift at the same time, and a lot of operators like to have them separate, especially when you're around a truck, like there's a sideboard of a truck, to make sure you have precision control. But it is kind of a toss-up. Some people are, you know, we have probably close to 40% are joystick with our customers, and then the rest are 2 levers still.
So am I in low now? I think I...
Yes, so see the F1?
Okay.
That's forward first gear.
Okay, I got you. What's a big bucket on that thing? And they get a lot bigger than that, don't they?
Yes.
Oh, no, that's all right there, having the 2. Wow. I got to show this. I'm not sure how well they can see it sitting over there, but that's a scoop of rock there, man. So like on a 15-yard dump truck, you're going to take 2 heaping scoops like that right there, and it's going to load that thing basically.
Yeah, I mean this machine is designed to 3-pass like a 23-ton triaxle,
right?
More or less. So three scoops, or 2 and like it's a small partial.
Wow, and that's a lot of weight right there.
Yeah, almost 10.5 tons.
Almost, that's 10.5 tons.
Short tons, yep.
So that's over 20,000 pounds right there.
Yep. It's a big jump. That's about half of what we were lifting before. So And
look at the barrel on that solenoid right there. So it's got, y'all got the configuration and linkage. There's 2 cylinders. Well, no, that's the cylinder that
runs
works
your
it,
tilt.
and that's just like a dog bone right
Correct.
there. Then okay,
So this is our TP linkage. This is more or less a Volvo exclusive. There's one other manufacturer that uses something kind of similar. But what this allows us is to maintain, we have really strong torque in our curl all the way through. So if you had a grapple on, we'd still have a lot of torque up here to manipulate the load. When you have the other style, the Z-bar linkage, that's more for a bucket dedicated machine. So you have a lot of power down low to penetrate your pile. But as you raise, you lose that torque and the ability to manipulate the load up high. So our TP linkage, we don't lose that ability. So it's really good for not just bucket loading, but other, you know, using grapples or any kind of heavy weighted attachment that you need to be able to have, you know, strong control over the load even at height.
That barrel on that cylinder ain't no joke. The rod in that cylinder ain't no joke. A lot of people don't realize how much weight that is right there.
Go in and change it to pounds actually.
Okay.
Oops.
There we go. I mean, that's stout right there, because that kind of weight, picking it up like that, you know, that
Generally
high.
right out here in front of us like this is the most unstable position on a loader. As you raise it, the load actually gets closer. So that, I mean, this is where everyone does a lot of their testing for tip load and everything. So, and you can feel it. I mean, the machine's as stable as anything. And this is also a long boom, so
and it's more action.
It's longer. The boom's longer by close to 17 to 20 inches longer than a regular boom. So again,
that's a lot of stuff in that thing.
It comes down to setting up the machine right, optioning the machine correctly to ensure you have stability like this, that you're able to run fast.
I like those 2 levers right there. That's
so we can change our lever configuration, like that pod, we can take that armrest off since it's electric over hydraulic and swap between a single lever and a multi-lever easily. So if you have a customer that wants, you know, someone didn't like the single lever and they wanted the multi-lever, and it's really easy to switch in and out on these machines.
That's what's so cool about all the stuff now. Because I've worked with some other companies on some things, and one of the first meetings I ever done with one of the companies, the guy said, he said, listen guys, he said, you got to understand that the machine that we're going to build is not just run for you or in your area. We're building these things to run worldwide. So we have to we can't build like a purpose thing just for you. We got to build it to where it works across the board for everybody. And that's a huge challenge for y'all. I mean, for
operator preference, if the operator doesn't like the machine, I mean, that, especially in really large companies, that word of mouth it's strong. It's very strong. So.
For it to be so big and large, it's just as smooth. I mean, just the operator fatigue on this has got to be just basically nothing.
It's a huge focus for Volvo, and overseas the regulations are a little bit different. They look at like total body vibrations over your lifetime, and that's adopted in the building of the cab to limit that vibration, because they do try to correlate that, the vibrations and the shock in your body, with, you know, your lifespan more or less. So they take another step where it's not just noise and sound, and they take that vibration into consideration as well, and make sure that the machine isn't unpleasant to ride and drive from that aspect.
Check out the seat on this thing. It's 220. Dang it, boy. What size bucket does this one have on it?
So this one's gonna get you up in that 7-yard range. It's gonna have a 13-liter engine in it, right?
Yes, sir.
I see y'all have auto lube on everything. It's an option. Just about it, yeah. On these here, I've seen it. When you have any machine with a scale, when we use our onboard weighing system, we definitely recommend it, because if you don't grease them, you know, if you're not a good greaser, it's gonna affect the accuracy of your scale for sure. Look at the bucket on that thing. So 8.2. 8.2 yards. 8.2. So this in here is going to be shorter. The bucket's going to be closer to it. Yep. So this one isn't a long boom. Still a production machine. Oh yeah. Obviously, definitely loading trucks out all day long. This is a pretty popular machine in logging as well. Doing offloading trucks, bunks, feeding them mill, stuff like that. What even gives you the temperature down there too? Outside temperature.
Weight wise on this one, what are we coming in at?
This one you're getting close to that 70,000 pound range.
Visibility is great out of this thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the entire back of the bucket right there. Controls have a really good feel on them too. I like that. I mean, it's real comparable to a pilot control, the way it feels.
I remember when they first, way back when I was running machines and they first went to electric over hydraulic, like everyone, like you didn't feel the feel was gone like initially, and
correct. Yeah.
A lot of people complained about that. So they've done quite a bit to kind of make it, at least give you some feedback there in the lever. It's not exactly like hydraulic pilot, but there's definitely still something there you can feel.
This thing's a beast, man. Good gracious, look at that. Ten and a half. Boy, you can load a dump truck with this right here really quick. You move some material in a shift with this, and of course that's what it's made for.
So keep the trucks moving through the quarry.
Right. So what would a machine, I hadn't asked you this question, a machine like this right here, what does this one right here ballpark cost? I'm gonna say probably close to $500,000.
A little less.
A little less, yeah.
It really depends on how you option it, of course.
It could go up $100,000 tomorrow with the way inflation is right now, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly really affects the cost depending on optioning it. When you option it like this for quarry, to load out, there's definitely some higher end options on there that you need. The auto loop being one. The right tires is extremely important. Tires are not cheap.
No, they're not. That's a regular dump truck load, just about it right there. Just dumped out of the bucket. It would take me about a couple of hours, and I'd be good to go on
it. Yeah, they're definitely comfortable to operate.
Yeah. That's what I was showing in that other one whenever I was getting out of it, was the bottom of the seat down there, all the different controls and stuff that you had, everything.
The seats, believe it or not, it's tough. It's tough to get one that everyone likes, and I think we finally landed on it with this one. So we kind of made this one standard on our production machines. So it's heated, cooled. Definitely has the most adjustability for tall and small operators alike. So
yeah,
we definitely have a win.
It's hard to get one to hold up too, because I mean, a lot of operators, a lot of guys, you know, that operate, they're good sized guys, you know, and they're heavy, and it takes a lot for a suspension to hold up like that, because I know it's air ride, I can feel that, and hear the compressor when it kicked on up under. I do like the 2 sticks. I'll show that in the video here in just a second there, where you got individual sticks for each, for your tilt and dump, and it's together on one, and then your main boom is on one. And you just glance right over the reverse camera right there. It's effortless to run. You know, I've run logging equipment forever, and watching the equipment evolve to what we were running in the 80s all the way up to what we're running now. You know, there were days like in the early 90s where you'd get out of the machine, you just be give out, because you're actually sitting there in the machine almost trying to help it do its task, and make it pull a tree or load a tree or anything like that. And the way this stuff is now, it's just, you're just using your fingertips to run it, and it's a lot more comfortable to run. So here's the 2 levers I was talking about. This works your main boom up and down, and then this is your dump. That curls it back, and then push forward on it, makes it go forward. And you got a low gear selector right there on the front, so you can run around as it goes up in gears. When you get back, go to push into the pile, you can bump that right there and it'll drop it back into first gear. Did I say that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right.
You take it a step further, you can try joystick controls.
Oh yeah.
Once you engage, this button engages, then you have your forward, neutral, reverse here, first gear here, so then you're driving on this side, and then you're running hydraulics on that side.
I got you. So you just fold this up
you
out
can,
of the way,
or however
right
you might like it.
Fold it up out of the way, and you just activate it right there, and then this is your steering. Wow. So you got minimal movement.
So then this all day long goes away.
That's right. Huh. All right, we got to try that then. Dude. See, that in the forestry world, they finally went to joystick steering on the rubber tire tree cutters, and that was kind of a game changer. I mean, it just, because I mean, you're not sitting there cranking on the wheel all day long. Dude, I mean, you just don't even move nothing over here. No. I mean, just absolutely nothing. I mean, Yeah, whoever designed the ergonomics on that and laid that out, I mean, it's laying right in the right
looked
spot.
into the body movement, you know, running this and steering all day, and then, you know, having the armrest set so your arms at kind of like a right angle or a little bit more. Just feels normal.
Dude, you could get some work done in this thing right here. All right, so I'm with Chris. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your last name, Chris?
So my name's Chris Connolly. I'm a product manager for loaders here at Volvo Construction Equipment. I've been a product manager for about 5 years. I've been with Volvo for 10. But prior to that, I worked in the construction industry for about 20 years, operator, labor, all the way up through the ranks. So Volvo was kind enough to grant me a chance for a job, and it's been awesome ever since.
So you're not just a person that went to work for Volvo. You came up through the trenches, actually operating and running.
Absolutely, literally shoveled in trenches. Yes, you know, laying pipe, sewer lines, all that sort of thing. Started jumping in equipment whenever the time came, and then got up into operating equipment. And then further on through with different crews, asphalt paving, finish work, you name it. We snow plowing. We did it all.
Did everything. Well, I wanted to share with y'all who was in the machine with me here, where you could, because you hear the voice and you probably didn't see him as we were talking around. And one of the behind the scenes people that don't necessarily ever get into the limelight, so to speak. So for me, it's really cool to be able to communicate with people like Chris and share back and forth, because that's actually where the rubber meets the road, because he's on a manufacturing standpoint, I'm on the end user standpoint, and it's very important to get that information flow between us going, because if they don't know what we're dealing with, they don't know what to produce for us out there on the end user. So very cool stuff. But I appreciate you taking the time.
Man,
Let me
for coming,
hop in these things, man.